Hello everyone watching and welcome back to another Commadtary. This time we are tackling another David Lynch film. In my opinion, his best film, Mulholland Drive. I want to do like a preamble for this and say like, well, here's what this movie's going to tell you and here's all the secret crazy shit it's trying to say. I don't even think I can do that for this movie. This movie, I really think I just have to say what I think as it plays, because there's really no way to introduce it effectively. It's doing a lot of things. It's very acrobatic. A lot like this intro sequence. You've got these sort of 1950s, Americana couples all dancing in a kind of Timoneric purple void. Very abstract way to open a movie is with some kind of weird, like, it's almost like clip art. It's really strange. We've got a guy carrying a chick on his back. Oh, drops her. We've got this sort of jazz music playing. Got a bunch of grinning boomers watching their children. Oh, their lives are going to be just like ours, aren't they? It's going to be a lot of trumpets and fanfare and, oh, the show must go on, yes. Then we cut to this really strange shot of this, like, indistinct, rotten-looking color palette of mostly black with a lot of red. It's like you're sticking a camera into a corpse. Very creepy. We have this red pillow, and then our POV goes into it. We're falling asleep. We're about to have a dream. The dream of this movie. Now, it's no new thing to point out that David Lynch's work traffics in that kind of it's all a dream type of shit. That's not new. The concept is old, but the execution of this version of it is very good. It's almost like how you execute an idea is infinitely more important than the value of the idea. The medium is the message. And that doesn't mean which medium you use, it means the quality of what you've constructed out of the materials of that medium. That's what determines how good a movie is, how good a book is, whatever. And this movie creepifies the age-old life is a dream kind of adage in a way that is really unique. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's not the best way to do it. It's just a very specific way. It's so specific, in fact. It's so intensely Lynchian. It's so perfect. It's why that term Lynchian has become a fucking meme. Because this guy's work is distinctive. This guy, David Lynch, he makes some very distinctive shit. You know it's his work when you watch it. And I think there's value in that, because a distinct, stubbornly produced object is not as common as you'd think it is. Most people make too many compromises when they produce art. Whether they're good artists or bad artists, it doesn't really matter. The point is that regardless of their skill level or the quality of their work, they make too many compromises. David Lynch has made next to none. I mean, I'm just assuming based on how weird his shit is. Maybe he did make some compromises. My point is, it seems like he hasn't. The work he's produced does not come across as something that is processed for your viewing enjoyment. It does not come across as a McDonald's combo for your brain. So you have this fancy woman in this car, rubber banding back to the film, and, you know, her drivers are pulling over and she hasn't told them to. The Hollywood system is rejecting her. She's served her purpose. She's sucked Harvey Weinstein's cock enough times. Now he's tired of her. But in the midst of this ejection of this Hollywood chick, we have this random drunken California teen car crash. Many such cases. There's many California teens. You know they like to drink. You're not supposed to do that. It's against the law. You're not supposed to drink and drive. But, you know, it's America. You've got your freedom to do that. Even if it kills you and it initiates the plot of a David Lynch film. You know, you crash your car, you might do that. You might just find yourself instigating the plot of a David Lynch film. I can't predict that. Who can predict that? Not even Nostradamus could predict this. That's the point, though, is this chick is about to be summarily ejected from the Hollywood cult. And ironically, this crash doesn't kill her, it kills her captors. And she's kind of dazed and confused, Led Zeppelin style, looking around. She may or may not have a concussion, guys. I'm not a medical doctor, but this chick probably should check herself in and get a CAT scan or something. Get the Lyrans to scan her brain for cat flaws in her cat brain. Anyway, the point is, this chick's fucked up. She's dazed, she's traumatized. At the very least, she's emotionally ruined at this point. Even if she's not physically hurt, it seems like she's fucked up. And one interpretation of this is that she died in the crash, and that's important. Normally that's kind of a Scooby-Doo tier, pull the mask off the villain, easy type of way of portraying this event. In this movie's context, it's worth considering that she died, and this is her ghost, or this is her imagining some kind of fake life. And again, there's not a lot of movies that I'll comment on that deal with this shit, in part because it's a pain in the ass to just explain things. It's like, well, in the real movie versus Dream 1 versus the dream within the dream, blah, blah, blah. It's like I have to go off on all these fractal tangents. It's like I don't give a shit unless the movie's amazing. This movie's amazing, so I'm going to put in the effort just for you guys who are watching, just for the two of you who give a shit about this. I will put in the effort. Because this movie is great, and I hope you watch it without my commentary. And I'm such a fucking egotist. I'm so up my own ass. There's not many movies on this channel that I've done commentaries for that I've said, watch this without my commentary. I think it's like 2 or 3. This is one of those movies where you should watch this without this commentary first, if you haven't seen it already. Because it's worth seeing and interpreting on your own, if you can manage to have the attention span to do so. This movie is no stalker, though. It's not that demanding. It's not that long a movie. You know, it's 2 hours. It's not that long. You spent longer than that playing Helldivers 2, or Fortnite, or Content Warning, or whatever the fuck game is popular. Anyway, our titular female character, no pun intended, falls asleep in a bush, and then we cut to the epic noir detectives. And Lynch's trademark pacing and tone are at play here, where everything seems a little bit slower and a little bit fuzzier and weirder than it would be. And I love how autistically insistent he is on establishing a tone that is like a trademark. His movies are always a bit slow in how the characters talk and move. The blocking is very deliberate, it's very slow. It's not even like a stage play. It's like a stage play when all the characters are walking through molasses. That's what David Lynch's blocking is like. It's like everybody's trudging through molasses that you can't see, you know? And the camera is kind of, it's not drunk, it's just slowed down. It's like, oh, someone, you know, put molasses in the camera gearbox or whatever the fuck, and it's moving a little bit slower than it should. It's kind of like watching a YouTube video at 0.25 or 0.75 speed, rather. It doesn't feel that way because of how Lynch does his cinematography in general. He doesn't draw attention to it. It's just a sort of thread. It's just an aspect. And part of it, I think, is the filters he uses. He's blurring things like everything's, a 1940s camera with Vaseline on it to hide the age of an actress. There are certain shots in this that are kind of fuzzy. And that makes them feel a bit slower. But physically, like temporally, I really do think he does something. There's got to be some trick he uses that he maybe hasn't divulged, where he slows things down just a little bit, even by like 5%. And it might just be a blocking thing too. It might not be a technical choice. It might be a directorial choice with how his actors move. Because not all scenes are slow like that, but when the cops were looking at the evidence there, I don't know about you, but that scene felt to me like it was the length of the entire Stalker movie by Tarkovsky. It was so fucking slow. The lingering shots and the way that he uses pacing is really the trick. That's really the thing. Lynch, if nothing else, is a master of how to modulate your pacing and how to have certain shots feel like they take 100 years and other shots feel like a fever dream. And again, we have a cafe here. It's called Winkies, like your eye, like winking. You're abdicating your sight for a second. You're blind for a second while you wink. And he goes, this is Winkies, this reality of David Lynch's. And he goes, okay, why would you come here? Why would you bring me to this place? And he goes, well, it's kind of embarrassing. I had a dream about this place. Reminds me of the Lovecraftian idea that reality is Yog-Sothoth's dream, which is just a concept poached from Gnosticism, where reality is the demiurge's dream. It's the same thing. And Lynch is kind of trying to tell you this. He's like, what if you're this poor nervous guy and you're trying to come out of your shell, you're trying to wake up, you're trying to decalcify your pineal gland, whatever your metaphor or your procedure is. This is how it feels. You feel totally nervous and vulnerable. And he goes, I'm scared like I can't tell you. Welcome to my life. And he says, I know what's going to happen. I can see the future. And I don't like it. I don't like being able to see where my dream is going. He goes, I get it. I wake up. I know who the demons are. I can see Satan in the back of this place. The garbage dump, the butthole of the diner, the waste disposal area. And he goes, I can see him. I can see his face. My God. This scene is like unmatched. I'd rather watch this scene. This scene disturbs me more than all of like Pulp Fiction. You know? It's just heavy shit. He's trying to tell him, can't do it. He's like, nah, I can't be more specific. He's like, you came to see if he's there. You came to confirm that evil exists. To get rid of this god-awful feeling. He's too curious. He has a suspicion there's a guy there. Whatever his symbolic value or his personage or whatever he is, he's like, there's something bad out back. And I had to come here. I had to come down to reality to make sure that there's something evil here. Because even up in heaven, I could smell it. even up in the 15th dimension with the machine elves, I could tell there was something wrong here. And he leaves his breakfast totally untouched. Looks like a good breakfast, man. The classic American diners, they know how to make a good breakfast, let me tell you. I would have been like, hold on, let me eat first. I want to confront evil with a full stomach. Never confront evil while you're on a fast or something. That's not the time to do it. You gotta have a full belly when you go on your Odyssean quest. And this poor guy, the camera lingers on things. And we know as viewers, because we have the context, that this is all shit he's seen before. Because he just gave a very tense exposition dump. This is like the exposition dump of all exposition dumps in terms of how Lynch gets away with it. He just spells out what's going to happen. But the actors' performances and the blocking, the sets, everything is so perfect that he gets away with basically telling you what you're about to see, which is like the number one thing in film you're not supposed to do. Again, Lynch is a genius because he's able to break that rule so perfectly. God, the first time I saw this scene, holy shit, man. It's a shit-faced hobo. It's an errant Cthulhuoid. He's been swimming around in the sewers and we didn't help him. That's the real horror. Again, there's lots of ways to interpret that scene. There's lots of political and racial ways to interpret it that I'm not going to talk about. Lynch's stuff is not that simple. Or is it? Anyway, this woman has crawled into this house. We cut from her to the big boys, the big wigs, the archons. And they're like, this pawn of ours is not in the right place on the chessboard. We must change things so that she is where she is supposed to be. I love it. We have this fucking Fallout 4 steampunk-ass fucking phone light. He's like, well, I have to have a light blasting onto my phone because I can't possibly not pick up my phone. It has to be properly lit for the shot. But also, it's insane. Like, look at that light. Why would you need a light like that for a fucking phone dial? Then we cut to a big red lamp. Same thing. We have a green light, way too powerful for what it needs to illuminate. And then we have a red light. And we don't know what goes on when that phone's picked up. Not yet. And then we cut to this other character. This movie's very disjointed. It's almost like a YouTube poop. It's like a YTP. You just have all these different things going on, and the movie will brutally cut to them without any warning. We have this Pleiadian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman grinning. She's got all the porcelain veneers. You know, she's filed down her vampire canines. She looks beautiful, looks perfect, looks like a nice little sex doll for Hollywood. She's ready to go to Harvey Weinstein, straight to his penthouse. That's where she's headed. And we have these geriatric boomer-type parents that are like, oh, we're so glad we're offering you up as a sacrifice to the Hollywood Satan machine. And she goes, I'm so ready. I can't wait to suck cocks. And they're like, oh, don't suck them too hard, dearie. I sucked Herbert's cock too hard in 1938, and, well, he beat me to the ends of the earth. Just don't piss off your male masters. He's like, oh, yes, your grandma, your mama said the right thing there. Don't piss him off. Make sure to wipe the cum out of your hair when you're done. She goes, oh no, my bags. And Hernandez, the fucking Hispanic stereotype bag loader taxi driver, is like, miss, you want to take your bags to the cartel headquarters? I mean, to Hollywood? I'm totally not going to sell you to the cartel. And then, this is great. I love this. This is my favorite scene in the movie. These creepy smiles, man. Holy shit. The artificiality of it. Our lifestyle will last forever. The boomer lifestyle is eternity. History has ended. We'll grin as we slit our children's throats. to maintain our lifestyle as we're dying. That's how desperate and stupid and asleep we are. It's crazy shit, man. The fact that this movie was made in 2001, the same year that a very tragic event happened in the States, is creepy. And it deals with young people suffering while old people put on artificial grins to hold up a system that's already failed. That's like the intro to this movie. So, rubber banding back to the film, we have our nice pink-clad Vampiroteuthis infernalis squid girl with little bioluminescent dots on her blouse there that represent the bioluminescent tentacles of the squid. And then we have a woman clad in pearls. Of course she's full of pearls. It's Ursula from the fucking Little Mermaid. Oh no, there's poopy on the stones. So I'm going to bring all the Vampiroteuthis back to the ocean and deprive you of all our demonic insights if you let your fucking mammalian scum beings crap on my epic autistic tile setup here. We're obsessed with aesthetics, sex, and death. That's what we value above everything. Poop is not in our hierarchy of value. Get it out of here. You guys need a liaison, man. The squids need a liaison that appreciates the mammalian obsession with digestion. That's what you guys need. If only there was such a creature wandering around. And she's being pretty cordial, you know. She's like some sort of failed LA actress, and she's like, you're probably going to become me in 10, 20 years, but hey, you know, my monarch butterfly earrings with the pearls, they're here to encourage you to follow that path to hell so that you can know if hell is right for you or not. You can tour it. She's like, wow, an out-of-date Western-style bathroom. There's 3 red peppers in a bowl there. Weird choice of decorative fruit. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad I came up from the Mariana Trench to see whatever this is. This is crazy. She's genuinely entranced. She's like, wow, there's no water here. I have to breathe air. My God, I can touch things and they feel different. I'm so new and innocent. God damn, I have no experience with any of this. My body's mature, but my mind is dangerously fresh. The little bits of glitter on her blouse, man, on her shirt. God damn it. And she finds this woman. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I love the delivery of these lines. It's so artificial and corny. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm acting. Like, that's intentional. All of the lines are delivered like that. There's a veneer of melodrama in the tone of the delivery of the lines. That's important. That's intentional in this. So she's found this other woman. She's sort of pixelated by the shower door there, in a way. Censored by it, artfully. And this chick is so nonplussed. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're like a home invader, potential homeless person, fucking grifter. I'm sympathetic to you because I'm an idiot. But this chick also has lost her memory. She's not trying to scam her. So both of these characters, in a way, are naive in different ways. You have an old soul, old squid woman, with black hair. Her hair is saturated with ink, with illusion, with performance, with being a Hollywood whore. But she's lost her memory. In a sense, she's been given her innocence. As if just for this encounter, she's lost her past self. And then we have this blonde chick who's like a fucking female Jesus clone who just crawled out of the CIA vat. And she's so, plucky and trustworthy. Like, she trusts everybody, Oh, you're a person? I love you. Like, that's her sort of loadout, And so these two characters, it's such a fascinating pairing and an interesting encounter. Imagine if it happened in real life. It'd probably be very entertaining to whoever watched it. Probably be very interesting. She's like, I want to be a star. I want to be famous one day. And this chick doesn't even have any memory of her failed attempt to do so. So there's a lot of ways you can interpret these characters. Let's get serious here and deviate from my ranting. These characters are not, I don't think, aspects of the same character or overarching female person. They're definitely different characters in the context of the story. And there's a lot of creepy dream, revival of the dead type of shit that happens, but I don't think that these characters are meant to be phased into each other or confused in that way. It seems to me that these are different people who've had different experiences, but they're both sort of blank slates. One of them, the blonde chick, is a blank slate from birth. The other one has been given sort of a second chance. She died, or she seems to have been injured seriously. She could have died. She got a concussion. She lost her memory. Whatever the case is, it's never clarified in this whole film. But she's paired with this very naive character who might as well have had her memory wiped, who might as well be in the same situation. Both characters are in equivalent situations, is what I'm saying. They're both women entering into the maw of the industry. It's so obvious, man, when you look at aerial shots of a city, that Earth is like a giant computer. That's a tangent, I know, but if you've ever looked out of a plane window and looked at how human objects look from that vantage point, we're just an alien computer. It's clear that humanity and all our constructs, we're creating chips and resistors and some sort of grid of constructs to calculate something. That's a concept. It's not a new concept. It's a common concept in science fiction. It's where I got it from, in fact. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy says that Earth is a giant computer. Anyway, enough about that crap. I had to talk about it because as we panned over those buildings a few seconds ago, one of them looked like a straight up fucking CPU chip, and I was like, okay, I gotta mention this. I blame the movie for making me go off on that tangent. It's all the movie's fault. It's almost like movies are scapegoats for the truth. Illusions that contain the truth. Wouldn't that be interesting if that were the truth? So, they're in some sort of business meeting, and there's a pretentious, soy boy, asshole, stubborn filmmaker. I love that it's Ryan Entertainment too. That's great. There's nothing significant about the name Ryan or I just like that. It just sounds nice. That's all I was saying with that comment. Were you frantically Googling what Ryan meant? I hope not. Hope you're not that far gone. Yes, this casting choice is very epic, thank you. And this pretentious fuck is like, espresso. And the other guy goes, nothing. I'm here for the CIA. I'm on a very specific loadout of drugs. If I have coffee, I'll bleed from the eyes and my balls will dissolve. Caffeine is not in my loadout. And we have this guy, this observer. And they're very adamant. They're like, this woman is the next Pleiadian that we'd like to cast as the potential mate. And this guy goes, no, I have different ideas. I'm the author of reality. I want a different girl. And his name's Adam, of course it is. Rebelling against heaven. Not a good idea. Angels are going to look like demons to you if you're stubbornly rebelling against them. They're going to look like these serious fucks. That's how you know you're wrong. And he goes, napkin, because I know I'm going to hate this crap. You're serving me Ganges diarrhea and calling it espresso. I sympathize with this guy the older I get. I'm like, man, it really is hard to get a good espresso these days. It's tough. You know, you choke down some burnt shit and you gotta smile and be like, ooh, delicious. It's like, nah. If you've ever had a good espresso in your life, your standards are permanently there. And if anything is below that, you're not gonna like it. This poor butler guy, he's like, I'm gonna go back to Lois. Sorry, guys. I got fired from the brewery and I had to become an espresso serviceman. Yeah. I just serve the espresso. I don't even brew it. It's a very specific job, but they wanted a fat, ugly guy so that the executives would feel handsomer when I was in the room. And I don't mind that. Again, he tastes the espresso and he's like, my taste buds are 5,000 times as sensitive as yours, you fucking plebs. I'm not even gonna swallow this shit. Again, it's a metaphor for him rejecting J.J. Abrams. I'm gonna call this guy J.J. Abrams from now on because he looks exactly like that fuck. It's J.J. Abrams' like movie pitch was so repulsive. That was the finest movie pitch we could come up with. This guy just goes, help me, God. These humans are so retarded. This guy's like, nah, she's nothing to them. One of the best lines in the movie. It's no longer your film. If you're this stupid, you just have to do what we tell you. If you can't make good choices on your own, you'll simply be dictated to. And if you don't obey those diktats, or change yourself enough to make good choices in your life, you'll be subject to the higher ups. Poor J.J. Abrams, man. He's like, I'm kind of pissed off. And there's like a mafia element to this. Like, oh, the mafia is involved in Hollywood. Perish the thought. I never would have assumed that. Wow, that's incredible. I never would have assumed there's mafia involvement in Hollywood. That sounds nuts. That couldn't possibly be true. Beat it, pal. And he goes, okay. It's back into his shitty Carrera. It's not even a nice Carrera. It's one of those greasy Carreras from this era. Now we've cut back to our epic lesbian couple, which is not a joke because they do make out later in this movie. That's the famous scene from this movie. All the coomers, the little goblin men, are like, is this the movie where the two actresses kiss? Oh my god, it's amazing. yes, this is that film. And like Eyes Wide Shut, that's a distraction for idiots. It's not even that. The idiots wouldn't have even watched that far in this unless people had gone through it and clipped that scene, spread it around, made it a meme. And he just goes, here's what the meeting produced. J.J. Abrams is being too stubborn. He goes, what should we do? Shut everything down. Is that something that you want us to do? This false god, this demiurge, this crippled god, literally and figuratively. It's not his fault. I'm sure he's a perfectly good person. But the metaphor in this scene is these people are worshipping a false god. The demiurge, Satan, Yog-Sothoth, Yaldabaoth, whatever. This thing is not God. It's a thing that somehow has enthralled enough people. It's a Blade movie universe arch vampire that has a whole bunch of thralls, you know. I love these two fucks. They're like parodies of action movie characters from the 80s. Have you ever seen like movies like Hard Target? These are the guys who are supposed to be the badasses. And this discount Fabio guy with the toothpick, you know? They're like California surfers pretending to be mobsters. I love this. I love their characters. They're such greasy, sort of gristly, sloppy fucks. They're funny. Their mannerisms are great. They're so loose. They're made of jelly. Like they're very, very well done in terms of how they were directed to perform and how they're filmed. They just seem like they're about to melt into, I don't know. They're just loopy, greasy, gristly fucks. It's great. This guy kind of looks like Iggy Pop. He's like Iggy Pop and Fabio. Fabio had a kid. Oh, but now he's been silenced, quite literally. Poor bastard. There's blood on his hair, guy. Ooh, now you've shot through the wall like a moron. This guy's got heterochromia. He's got two different eyes. That means he's an epic hero. No, it doesn't. It means he's a fuck-up. I love it. This guy tries to strangle her. It's like, do you have no more bullets left? What, did you bring 2 bullets to a hit job? What are you, a moron? This chick's kicking your ass. Why wouldn't you just silenced pistol her ass? Again, the guy's supposed to be incompetent, I get it, but god damn. This scene is fucking crazy. What, did he leave his gun in the other room? This guy needs to play some Hitman. Then he could train himself to shoot up schools, like that game is supposed to train you to do. The janitor's like, I don't give a shit. I'm being paid fucking $5 an hour. This movie, in a lot of ways, it does call back to Pulp Fiction. I didn't just mention that earlier as a lark. It really does feel like a kind of much more surreal Pulp Fiction. It's like that. Again, if you've played the game Hitman or you know the concept, this guy's just lost a lot of points. He's got a lot of loose ends to tie up. Poor bastard. God damn. What an idiot. Just shoots the vacuum. Yeah, shooting things is the solution, man. You should have kept your gun on you, and you wouldn't have had to deal with the janitor. Now you've got a fire alarm going off, and he takes the time to deliver the line. Oh, fuck. Oh, shucks, guys. I better wipe off the computer screen. That'll definitely hide my identity. Good lord. What an incompetent mess, man. She's like, okay, Aunt Boomer. I'll do my best to live your fantasy of what I should be, even though I'll make no money and have to live off your inheritance after you've died, which won't sustain me, and I'll probably just kill myself in 10 years when I run out of money. Thanks, Mommy. Now she's saying, for real, rubber-banding back to the movie, well, there's a chick here, there's a woman staying in this apartment. It's like, she must be your friend. I just assumed that because I'm a smooth-brained koala idiot. It's like, you're sleeping with a hobo, my dear. You're sleeping with a corpse. There's an undead Fallout 4 ghoul in your fucking apartment. You don't even know it. You're too trusting. Can't even recognize that shit. God damn. You're obviously a homeless grifter or a heroin addict or something. This chick's like, no, I'm fucking injured. I don't know who I am. This chick is so sympathetic, man. My God, the sympathy of Christ. Misapplied. Doesn't even know her name. She's been Blade Runnered. She's a replicant with no memories. How will you deal with it? She's so hopeful, man. This chick is so plucky and hopeful. She's like a Boy Scout, like a Girl Scout. Your name will be in your purse, won't it? Like, there's just so much hopefulness in it. It's so naive. And the movie relies on that. It relies on these naive characters. It uses naivety in a very interesting way. Naivety becomes creepy. Look at all that money. Those are hundreds. Holy shit. She's got like fucking 20 grand, 30 grand in her purse. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money. This poor woman. Triangular blue key. A triangular blue key. Very interesting. The triangle and the color blue. What could that mean? It could mean our Fallout 4 raider guy is having a hot dog. That's what it means. And his very nipple obvious little fuck girl with several diseases, is like, can I have a cigarette? I made my nipples go through my sweatshirt. Can I have a cigarette? Fucking bootleg Rutger Hauer on her right is like, I've seen things you hookers wouldn't believe. Hot dogs without any mustard. Nipples that aren't visible through hoodies. It's insane. She's been like beaten. She's got bruises on her arm. Jesus Christ. Good God. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call it here just for a sec. We're going to take a quick break of only a few seconds. And I will come back, and I promise I will finish this commentary. I will do it for you. We're at 46 minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. Peace out. Hey guys, we are back with the next part of the Mulholland Drive recording. Something I may have to do in 3 parts, but let's get off of that tangent for now. This woman, this black-haired woman, holding her red nails up in front of her face as if they're a bunch of red eyes. Very creepy. And then poor J.J. Abrams, he's like, what do you mean they didn't like the Star Wars movies? I did them just like the Star Trek movies. It's almost like you had no knowledge of the established lore of those properties, and so you mishandled them. And I'm using industry terms throughout that whole phrase because that's the world this guy lives in. I think lore and stories are, at best, a diminishment of the value of cultural information that's sent into the future orally or through media. It's very easy to corrupt that shit. It's very easy to hack it. Insert your own parasitic subroutines into it. Ruin it. But anyway, she's like, Mulholland Drive? That's where all the epic celebrities live. And this chick's like, that's something I've remembered. My memory's starting to return. And she goes, well, maybe that's where your car accident was. Yeah, maybe, you dumb fucking bitch. Of course it was. It's almost like you might remember the street signs near the place where the car crashed. Duh. And she goes, we'll act. We'll pretend to be somebody else. The whole point of being here is to pretend to be somebody else. And this chick's like, let's try to deceive these people who are trained to recognize actors' performances by trying to deceive them. Very dumb plan. It's almost like you're going to get found out instantly. But this chick is so brain dead, she's like, sure, my mind has been erased. Like, I'll do whatever you say. So our blonde Pleiadian chick has this dark-haired pawn. It's like a dog she's leading around on a leash. Hopefully it doesn't shit on anybody's nice concrete patio. The cheapest possible fucking patio you can have. So this scene's bullshit, it's boring. It's just J.J. Abrams realizing he's been cucked and reacting to it in true cuckold fashion. The only Chad way to react when you've been cucked is to murder both your wife and the man that has violated her. Because both of them are clearly unworthy to exist in reality and should both just be executed by you. You can execute yourself afterwards if you'd like, or you can spend your life in prison having anal sex involuntarily, which is, that's just another choice, But poor J.J. Abrams, his wife acts like he's at fault for betraying the illusion. Oh, how dare you walk in on me and my side man? How dare you fucking invalidate or attack my power as an independent woman to cheat on you? And he goes, actually, I don't give a shit about you cheating on me. I don't care. I'm just taking your shit. I just want the money. If you just want sex, here's my admission, my confession. I just want money. Just give it to me. If you think sex is so valuable, I'm just going to take your shit. I mean, he still reacts like a cuck. He still should have killed them both, but, you know, he sort of takes the middle road in a way, and he just takes all their money, you know. Says, I'm going to at least have a good time. Ah, you should have sold those, man. Well, I guess it's more insulting to pour paint on them. What is she going to do, slap you out of doing it? What does she weigh, 100 pounds? Good luck. Again, you should have killed Macho Man Randy Savage here, because he's going to punch you out. Like the Reddit dope you are. You should have brought a gun, you dumbass. You didn't need a gun, just bring a baseball bat. Very easy to kill somebody with a bat. You just hit them once or twice in the head, and the shards of their skull will penetrate their brain and cause cranial bleeding, and they'll be dead before you know it. Instead, this fucking Redditor gets thrown out of his own house with pink paint all over him. My God, what a humiliation ritual this is. I don't like the ritual, guys. I think humiliation is a serious thing. I think that honor and virtue should be real things. They shouldn't be trivialized in the name of performance. And I think defending the non-performative real value of those things is kind of what keeps societies from rotting. And I gotta say, whatever you have to do to defend those things, it's probably justified. And I'm not suggesting that anybody do anything extreme in any sense or term or definition. I'm not suggesting that at all. What I am suggesting is that if your honor, your virtue, or your integrity as a human being, male or female or whatever else, is violated, you should not write that off as, oh, it's just part of the performance. It's just part of the show of the West. It's worth doing anything to keep this society going, even debasing ourselves on a level that is only a micro sliver away from giving away our souls. You might as well give your soul away at that point. Keep your integrity, your honor, and your virtue. Keep your values intact. Do whatever it takes to do that. Non-violently, of course. We don't condone violence on the Madman channel. We condone madness, yes, but not violence. No. That's naughty. That'll earn you a stint in the gulag if you dare to rebel violently. We don't like that. I don't like that. That makes me sick. Makes me want to puke, in fact. Just look at these two epic independent women, these independent lesbians. They're attacking their own social and psychological problems without any violence. They're doing epic noir detective work as David Lynch characters, which are empowered by David Lynch's writing of their competence. But don't pay attention to that. I'm sure that two women in these same situations would do the same thing. They would both react exactly the same. So now they're in the diner, and spoiler alert, it looks a lot like the same diner we were at before. Probably because it's the same indoor set. And this lesbian coffee pourer is like, oh, you'd scissor with me, wouldn't you? And then this dark-haired chick's like, oh shit, it's Winkies again. It's the insane asylum for retarded Pleiadians. Don't wink your eye to the Hollywood elite. They'll interpret it as some kind of occult satanic sex symbol. Wink your eye by dropping a bomb on them, erasing them all from existence, burning them all in a fire that never goes out. The eternal flame of Lucifer. You get too close to it, you're going to be burned. And so again, this chick's trying to figure out her name. She's like, who the fuck am I? I have David Lynch, exaggerated soap opera, parody amnesia, which was a common trope, of course, in soap operas in the 80s and 90s, was, oh, this character has amnesia. Now it creates drama automatically because they don't know who they are. We can change their behavior however we like to serve whatever creepy narrative we're trying to push through this soap opera medium. And she goes, oh, another hoe has taken over my Harvey Weinstein cushy position. Ooh. Maybe our epic Pleiadian hero can help you out. Or maybe she's too stupid to do anything but drag herself down into the same pit. Maybe she's just here for creepy entertainment. Maybe her entire existence and her whole reason for being here is to be a creepy entertainment piece. Well, that's not going to fly. Not in this movie or otherwise. It's not going to fly the way the leather-gloved hawk masters want it to fly. Flies according to the wind and where that wind blows. And now the mafia dudes, the 300-pound fucking Tony Soprano guys, have shown up. And they're like, you can punch me all you want, bitch. I got a protective layer of McDonald's fat. I've spent many years as a Navy SEAL, and the number one tactic they taught us was eat enough food that your fat in your own body weighs so much that it not only protects you from harm, but you can literally swing your fat, muscleless, blubbery arm at somebody, and it's like a blubber bludgeon. It's a blubber bludgeon. Guys, let's get blubber bludgeon trending. I would love that. Let's get blubber bludgeon trending. Fat guys who use their weight as a cudgel, as a weapon. Weight as a weapon. Damn. So J.J. Abrams has retreated into fucking the worst hotel in the universe. And Mustachio Man is here to be like, listen, bro. I'm getting accosted by fucking bankers, and, I'm running on a razor-thin margin as it is, so your epic Star Wars revival is not gonna work, because no one liked it. The idiot fanboys saw it, but then nobody is streaming it. Nobody's buying the DVDs or Blu-rays, which are still gonna be a thing for maybe another 2 or 3 years. Basically, your shit sucks. And I can't do you any more favors. Ooh, sorry, JJ. I hated your Star Wars and your Star Trek reboots, by the way. They were both ass. Because for some reason you were like, yeah, I'll write the script. I won't hire anybody else. We can save $12,000 by not hiring a professional writer. Wow, you saved $12,000 and you negated a potential $12 million in profit from saving that small amount, from not hiring a good writer with half a brain, with an IQ above room temperature. Good for you, buddy. Great business decision. You know what? They should just put you in charge of fucking Goldman Sachs. You obviously have the brain of a genius god, you know? You might as well just kick Einstein in the dick. You could obviously figure out how to make a movie better than anybody. And your movies will make trillions. They'll break all the box office records because you cheaped out on hiring someone who could write a sentence or who could portray a single character semi-realistically. You chose to kick those people to the curb. And I hope Hollywood embraces AI, and I hope it causes them to just burn, because AI is the most derivative, tragedy of the commons, meme piece of shit that the masters of illusion have shat out, because all it does is suck like a bottom-feeding sea cucumber leech at the worst, most dead, most nutrient-deficient garbage that the human mind can produce, and then says, I will now copy this garbage, beep, boop. And then it makes the worst shit you can imagine. It is a fucking meme. And maybe in a year, maybe in 5 years, maybe in a month, it'll be a genius and kill us all, sterilize us all. Yeah, okay, all right, fine. If that happens, that happens. My opinion is, it's another carnival show, fireworks show, distraction, meme, bullshit, lie. And the thing about it that pisses me off is not that it's a lie, that's bad enough, it's that it's a bad lie. It's not an artful lie, it's not precise, it's not convincing, it is garbage. Only the most worm-brained idiots will fall for it. The people who buy the Apple Vision Pro and use it while they drive in their Tesla, those are the people that's going to hypnotize. Guess what? There aren't as many of those people as you think they are. A lot of those people are going to get bored of your little meme a month after they strap it to their skull. And a lot more of those people are just demographic smoke that don't actually exist. They're speculation. Anyway. We're kind of in a glut of things happening, guys. There's a lot of conversation going on. You can interpret it autistically and schizophrenically as much as you'd like, but I'm going to use this movie as a platform to peddle my shitty opinions whenever I feel like it. So if you don't like that, don't watch. But I'm only going to rubber band back to things during significant plot points. And because I've seen this movie 50 times, I know when to ignore what's going on. And the whole conversation we just skipped with J.J. Abrams and his secretary was all bullshit, because the entire J.J. Abrams plot is bullshit and shouldn't have been in this movie. It's not interesting. What's interesting is these two women. Now, this Bene Gesserit witch woman comes to her door and goes, something is wrong. The web upon the weavers is distorted, and the spiders can't poop out enough silk, and blah, 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 blah. I've been eating cat shit for 30 years, and I have toxoplasmosis, so I'm going to psychically intervene in reality on behalf of cats. Those are my gods. Nothing I'm saying benefits you at all. I'm totally hypnotized. I'm like a mushroom zombie from The Last of Us, and everything I say is horseshit. And poor Coco, man, she's the pearl that emerged from the oyster. She's the sand grain that elevated herself to be a landlord. My God, what a prestigious position. Good for you, bitch. You became a landlord. Good for you. Honestly, that's a hard job. A lot of women couldn't do that. A lot of men can't do it. But she has to deal with crazy cat ladies. She has to deal with wayward Pleiadians. She has to deal with dark-haired undead corpses wandering into her hotel room, also known as reality. Kind of a shit job, you know. It's like being a janitor, a glorified janitor, you know. I'll give her glorification, you know. Her work at least deserves the illusion of glorification, you know. She's done more than a lot of entities that are here. And ooh, something's wrong in our dark-haired chick. She's having a flashback. She took some shrooms. But, ooh, she's not seeing her past. She's seeing J.J. Abrams driving to Harvey Weinstein's mansion to stick his fingers up Harvey Weinstein's ass for another 5% of the gross of the movie. Emphasis on gross. But for real, J.J. Abrams in this scene has been summoned by somebody to account for his little tantrum he had. He's like, I don't want to be cuckolded. I don't want to be diminished as a man. I don't want to exist as a permanent Redditor for all eternity. And I really don't want my movie to be decided by other people. I don't want to have to defer to casting choices that I don't like. He's rebelling. He's saying, I'm not comfortable with this bargain. And so, he has to go to this ranch. Nice cattle skull up there. Nothing significant about that at all. The sacrificial cow. He's got pink paint on him. You're marked for sacrifice, man. You might as well already be dead. Let Antoine Chigurh puncture your skull with a pressurized cattle-killing device. You're already dead. You're gone. You're a corpse. And this creepy vampire lord from the movie Blade, this very creepily white, pasty, pale, diseased, porphyric hemophilia sufferer with a white cowboy hat, is saying to him, you better not even approach me with a bad attitude, or I'll fucking kill you. I own a cattle ranch. I have a bunch of fences and dirt plots where cows shit. That makes me a powerful person. Yeah, sure it does. But in this movie's context, he is powerful. And J.J. Abrams is reined in like a bull or a steer. We gotta ride this motherfucker till he produces for us. He gotta shit some fertilizer for us. We run a fertilizer company here as well as a slaughterhouse. We take enough shit from him. We pump him full of grain till he shits enough we can sell the fertilizer, which has gone up in price since we can't buy Russian fertilizer now because of the tariffs. But, we milk them for all they got. Female cows, we milk their milk. Male cows, we take their sperm and their shit. And then, at the end of the day, we take their meat when we kill them. And basically that's what he's saying. He's like, you're a smart aleck. You think you're smarter than you are. And this character, this J.J. Abrams filmmaker guy, he's not an idiot, but he's acted like an idiot within an industry where the people who are compliant to the satanic diktats get rewards in exchange for their soul. And this guy's like, this guy's so dumb, he's already given them his soul, and he doesn't even know how to perform to get the rewards. He's that stupid. And this guy's basically explaining, you've already made the bargain. We need to change a casting choice that you've made for your film. And if you're going to have a baby toddler golf ball club tantrum fit and do a bunch of epic, very cinematic, violent crap, all that's going to happen is you're going straight to hell, and your movie will never exist. Or it'll exist just without your involvement. Like, you're in deeper than you think you are, is what they're saying to him. It's why I'll never collaborate with Hollywood. I'd rather die in obscurity. I'd rather delete this entire YouTube channel and have all my words scattered to the void, because this cowboy guy, I'd like to do what J.J. Abrams should have done, which is take a golf club to his skull until it was reduced to a fine pulp, till even the skull fragments were shattered to such an extent that they were basically a powder, a kind of blood pudding. Like the British like. We like our blood pudding, mate. We like to drink blood because we're unrepentant vampires. That's what I'd like to do to that pale, vampiric cowboy fuck, is I'd like to take some kind of blunt implement, pick your poison, and I'd like to beat his head until it's basically a type of like red foam. And the only way to make the red more pink would be to shatter the skull into a white powder that would change the color of the red of the brain foam until it was as pink as our main character's robe here. I'd like to make this guy's brain matter and head look like her pink robe. I'd like to make red and white into pink. I'd like to mix colors, because I'm a painter, guys. I like to paint. I'd like to paint with that cowboy guy's brain matter. I'd like to turn it pink. You know, pink is the new black. You know, I'd like to introduce that guy's body to that concept, even after he's dead. I'd like to make him understand the meaning of pink by turning him into pink foam. Anyway, our two female characters, rubber banding back to the film, are going over their lines. And then Coco comes in and she hasn't seen this chick. This chick's secret lesbian lover. Ooh. What a very epic secret. You're gay? My God. Your brain, your head should be turned to pink foam just because you're gay. My God. You've realized you can't breed, you have no genetic value to produce, you'd still like to work for the system while satisfying your sexual desires, which are twisted beyond repair. My God. You know what? You should just be killed. And our Pleiadian is like, she's just staying here for a bit, you know, her plane was leaving, blah, 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 it got delayed, she's trying to lie. Pro tip, if you're a Pleiadian that's just landed here in this shit heap Golgotha nightmare, don't try to be a liar unless you have some real experience with lying, because these people are much better liars than we are, man. They're much more cooked. They've got more than a foot in hell. They've got 2 feet and 1 arm in hell when it comes to lying. They don't know the difference between truth and lying anymore. They've lost that ability. That's your one saving grace, is you're going to be able to know when they're lying. But when you try to lie to them, it's probably going to fail. Your best bet is to tell the truth in an over-the-top, bombastic way that makes it seem like a lie to them. To kind of pull off a kind of MDE scam where you tell the truth in such a bombastic, outlandish way that you both defeat your liar surroundings by doing that, but you also pretty obviously expose yourself as somebody who can't lie subtly. You have to lie loudly. Let's lie loudly. It's not a good strategy because it wears off very quickly. The best strategy is to mutate yourself to the point where you're indistinguishable from these plastic people, and then just drop a nuke in the middle of their society because it deserves to be destroyed by any metric defined by any god from any religion from any era. This is pure hell. If there's a hell that's worse than this, it's better because at least it's more honest. That's the point we're at with lying in the West. Sorry guys, it's a very cynical perspective. I didn't mean to expose you to that thought form, but you know, I gotta be honest in these videos. These videos are my way of venting. You know, this channel is a channel for channeling what I need to channel. So I'll channel it through this channel. Speaking of lying, this is a good point to rubber band back to the plot. We've got some epic, very well-educated women who had no children, who are either lesbian or mentally deficient in some very exotic way that I'm sure there isn't even a term for these days. And they're your evaluators. They're going to evaluate your thesis. They're going to look over what you've produced. They're going to open your cheeks and see what kind of poo-poo can come out of your bum. That's the mommies that are going to wipe your butthole. It's these chicks. Would you rather it was them or somebody else? That's your choice. The point is, this scene is, of course, a scene. Our main character, our Pleiadian, is auditioning. Can she act well enough to get through her little tour of hell? Can she put on a demonic face to impress all the other rotted ghouls that she's forced to rub up against and smell? These creepy women, man. I used to think the men in this scene were creepy. Nowadays, I think the women are the real creepy ones. Again, you know, read Dune, watch the movies. The Bene Gesserit are the real creeps. According to those movies, they're the powerful women. Maybe that's true in reality. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But in any case, this scene's creepier when you realize that the men involved are cucked because they work for Hollywood. They work for an illusion. They are subservient at the end of the day to an illusion. And illusion as a concept and as a way of organizing society is inherently feminine. Masculine societies do not rely on illusion if they are genuinely run by men. Feminine societies rely on illusion. And the thing about illusion is, it's illusion. It doesn't last. It fades. You can give your people 10,000 illusions. You can cycle them out. You can make one aesthetic better than another aesthetic. You can go trend by trend by trend. But they eventually fail because your populace gets bored of things that aren't real. Reality is the only thing that isn't boring because it changes according to God's definition of illusion. The illusions you're seeing are mediated by a higher power. They're transformed and changed and mutated by an entity that is not human and not bound by those human limits. And even if the demiurge is God, even if we're living in hell, that doesn't change the truth. We're not going to make illusions here that are better than the illusions made by a higher power. And I love this scene because as a scene, it's very good. I mean, the performance of attraction, it really does rip apart all of womanhood, kind of like a dissected corpse. It's like Lynch is sort of showing you a dead woman and dissecting her in front of you and saying, well, here are her lungs and the muscles and the organs. Here's her brain, and here's how she would try to allure you. She would try to hypnotize you as a man. It's a dissection of seduction. And Lynch chose this as the scene for this random acting audition in the context of his narrative. These characters are just auditioning to be characters in a movie. But the scene Lynch wanted was an attraction scene between a very young woman and an old man. Relatively very young. I don't know how young our main actress is. And yes, I've forgotten who she is. I've forgotten her name, you know. Come at me for that. I think it's Nicole Kidman, but I might be wrong. In any case, this scene is a very Hollywood type of scene. If you were going to test somebody's mettle as an actress or an actor, you would want to test if they could perform a very intimate scene. If their souls are so whittled down to nothing or just gone completely that they are basically just Pinocchio vessels for demons, you would want to make sure that was the case, and you would want to make sure that your actors were willing to do potentially embarrassing or humiliating things for the purpose of the play, of reality. The question is that play effective, and should it go on? That's the real question. If there's any anti-Western line of thought that has any value, it's, should this shit go on? Has the fat lady already sang? Is she singing so much she has no voice? Is it time to pick a different mode of being? Maybe that's a question that should be asked. Or maybe not. Maybe it's bullshit. Maybe it's inferior acting. A lot of it is. But anyway, this old man, this Harvey Weinstein type fuck is like, "Oh, Betty, you're such a good actor. I'm sure that when we program you to suck cocks, you'll accept the programming, won't you, my dear? Yes." And all the women are like, "Thank you. We'll go back to the academy in order to justify this neo-whore. We'll write a whole bunch of articles that are very full of long-lettered buzzwords that justify women whoring themselves out in total opposition to their biology. But don't worry, we're above biology. We're geniuses. We read female philosophers. We know how to be witches in the modern age." Now they're red-pilling this chick like they assume she's been here before. You bitches are supposed to be powerful Harry Potter witches. You can't figure out this soul, this being, this entity has not been here before. You're treating her like she's been here 10 times. Are you fucking retarded? What is wrong with you? It's almost like that's just their script they're following, and they're near unconscious, if not totally unconscious. They're just shells. They're just vessels for propaganda. They're like, "Here's how things work here, doll. You spread your legs and you get a roll." And they can't even figure out this chick is totally unfamiliar with that and will break their entire system into pieces because she's not familiar. That's her power. Innocence is powerful if you use it right. If you're innocent, you can blow shit up. You were born with a nuke strapped to you if you're innocent. And my recommendation these days is you should just fucking detonate it. Mentally, cerebrally, metaphorically. Blow it up. Because if you were born with that, you were ripped out of existence to be here, unduly, unjustly. And you should go off. You should say whatever the fuck you want to say. That's what I do on this channel. I set myself off. No, J.J. Abrams, he's got the Sony MDRs. He's got the good audio equipment, at least. Hello, I'm the plastic AI woman that is meant to replace the other actress who got ejected from Hollywood because Hollywood didn't like her. I'm the woman that you've been programmed to allow to be your protagonist. How about I allow nobody to be my protagonist? How about I allow you to suck my nuts? How about I burn down the whole movie studio? Metaphorically, psychically. Let's say psychically, guys. Let's default to that term. That's a more appropriate term anyway for all this crap. It's all manipulation for morons anyway. All the characters in this are scum. Pond scum. They couldn't crawl their way out of the bottom of the fucking pond. They were dredged up with some fishing net, and the fishermen had some kind of insidious designs for them. They should have been left at the bottom of the fucking pond. Should never have been born in the first place. That's what this movie's saying, guys. It's the movie making me think these things. This movie is obviously evil and should be banned. I think we should hashtag ban David Lynch. Why don't we do that? Why don't we get that hashtag going, guys? Ban David Lynch. He made me think evil thoughts. He made me think poopy thoughts, bad thoughts. You know what? It's not my own weakness or inexperience that's to blame. It's the movie. It's the media. I think we should just ban this movie. I think this movie's inherently evil. I think it's cursed, in fact. I would perform juju blessing rituals against it to keep it from infecting other minds. My God, we have to keep media from infecting the minds of our children. It's not like our children are not that dumb and should also be exposed to what things are going to try to control them in a controlled environment. It's not like our children should be prepared for this type of psychic rape, which is all over the place. No, that's not true, guys. Just get rid of the bad media. That's all we need to do. If we edit media, then we'll fix it. We'll fix all the problems. All at once. They'll all be fixed instantly. We'll kill 500 birds with one stone if we just censor David Lynch. Ooh, your minders are looking at you. Oh, J.J. Abrams, are you going to say the line in the play of reality? Oh, you just did. Very good. You've just given up your soul. Thank you. Satan thanks you for signing the document, the verbal signage, where you did what they told you to do. Doing what someone tells you to do when you know it's wrong and or you don't want to do it is the same as selling your soul. It's the same act. It's the same gesture. Burn that into your fucking brain. If you're doing something that you know is wrong for you or to you, and you do it anyway because someone's promised you some boon, whatever it is, women, money, a job, a lifestyle, whatever, say no. Deprive that person of your soul, that group, that institution. Keep your soul for yourself, whatever the cost. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. Take from them what they would take from you. Keep it, whatever the cost. Your body might rot, your family might suffer, your friends might leave. It doesn't matter. If your soul's at stake, there's nothing that matters more than that. Ever. In any situation, any context, in any case. Why I like David Lynch in part is because he tries to tell you this. In fact, he screams this at you in a lot of ways. He says, look at these characters. They're totally empty. They're soulless. They're like little actress vessels. They're already fucked. They're already damned. They just haven't realized it yet. And what you're following in this movie is you're following their realization of their damnation. They've already sold their souls. They just don't know it yet. That's part of the epic spectacle of their suffering, is that they have to figure out that they're damned. That's part of the evil, satanic fun, is you take somebody's soul and then you make them walk the journey of its giving up, of its sacrifice. That's what this movie's about. Both these women are dead. They're dead. One of them has given her life to show business for the first time. The other has done so who knows how many times. But she's undead. And she's showing this potential younger version of herself what her mistakes were, but it's futile. Showing her her mistakes is not going to save her. She's already fucked. That's the dark interpretation of this shit, but I think it's true. Whether this dark-haired character is real or not doesn't matter. What matters is that our blonde-haired protagonist has already given herself to the Hollywood system. She's already consigned her soul to eternal lies, to remixes of bullshit ad infinitum. She's already in the system. She's already given herself, and she doesn't even know it. The fucked up thing is, this movie, the most depressing thing, in my opinion, is it says you can sell your soul and you don't even know you're doing it. In my opinion, you should always know when you're going to sell your soul. There should be not suggestions and clues and little hints. It should be a very blunt thing. God himself should come up out of fucking heaven and go, do you want to sell your soul or not? It should be that blunt. It should be that obvious, but it's not. And in reality, that's true. When you're tempted to sell yourself, your deepest, most valuable sense of who you are, which is your soul, you will often be tempted to do so without much fanfare. It will often be very easy to do it. You will do it without knowing you've done it. And good luck trying to buy it back, man. Good luck on your Helldiver's expedition into hell to reclaim your soul. That's going to be a saga. That's going to be a lot of streaming on Twitch. You're going to have to stream for 24 hours a day for 100 years to get that back. Good luck. Anyway, this dykish Israeli-looking chick is saying, come into my apartment, you can see my shit. These two girls are like, well, it's the best lead we have. I mean, we gotta do it. I guess your name's not Diane. Yeah, no shit. Ooh, cabin 17. Are they brave enough to go into the Resident Evil cabin? What could be within this triangular-shaped light to her left? Ooh. There's a bunch of Pythagoreans fucking each other in the ass, ancient Greek style, using olive oil as lube. What a bunch of corny idiots. We figured out math. Now let's fuck. Go for it. You're in hell either way. Who cares? You're not going to help anybody else. Who cares what you're doing? Who cares what your cult symbols are? You're not helping anybody. You're pretending to help people. You're doing charity drives where most of the profits go back to you. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Sure. I'd rather be a charity case than contribute to a charity like that. I'd rather be in the gutter on heroin than give my money, time, or effort to some fake charity meant to ingratiate creeps. Maybe those rumors are wrong, guys. Maybe I've been brainwashed. Well, if that's the case, then that's the case. You let the brainwashing float around. You let those ideas fly around. Laissez-faire. Now they're going into this house and it smells a bit stinky. Ooh. Someone left some Unchanged diapers in this house. What the fuck's going on with this place? The Israeli chick leaves. She looks like Ben Shapiro's wife. Looks like Abby Shapiro, this chick. Funny that. But I'm sure it means nothing, guys. Don't interpret my comments as gospel for anything, for any opinion or any stance. It's all bullshit. It's all wrong. It's all just me being insane. I'm insane, by the way. You should know that. I'm certifiably nuts. None of this means anything. So, rubber banding back to the film, they find a rotting corpse. It looks a bit like our dark-haired chick, almost like she died. And our Pleiadian's like, no, don't acknowledge your own death. Persist in the illusion that you're alive. Let the Israeli property owner convince you that you're not rotting. Even though you're rotting in her house, or what was supposed to be her house. Keep giving money to Israel for missiles. That's the message that this film is really trying to say. And I'm not being sarcastic. I really do think this movie's saying, guys, we should give double what we're giving to Israel for missiles, because there's no corpse in the house. Our society isn't secretly dead or hasn't been killed already by Russian Marxist satanic propaganda. That hasn't happened. None of that's real. That's all a bunch of delusional bullshit. And if you believe it, you're schizophrenic. And also, we should give double the money to Israel at the same time. Just to tack that message on. I know it seems tacked on. I know it's a bit rough. But that's what this movie's saying. I think that's what this movie's point is we should actually give double the money to Israel. And we should also be backing any Arab states surrounding Israel to destroy the Palestinians, because they're clearly evil. And Israel is clearly godlike and deserves all of our attention. That's what this movie's saying with the rotting corpse scene. I know it's a bit of a stretch. I know the subtext might be a bit complicated for a lot of you to absorb. And I know my rants are not always coherent. But, this movie really speaks to me. It really tells me a lot of very important things through its subtext. It prompts me to consider things in a different way. And that's why I think it's a good movie. And now we have a scene, rubber banding back to the film, where our main character is trying to create a facsimile of blonde-haired, white-skinned, blue-eyed society out of a brown-haired corpse. If the Israelis want to integrate into white society, this isn't the way to do it, if that's what that scene's meant to metaphorically suggest. Ooh, guys, that's a bit presumptuous there. You're going to have these two women have a nice lesbian sex session in front of us? Ooh, I don't know if people are going to really respond to that these days, because people aren't as stupid as you thought they were, are they? No. They're not that dumb. Even the fluoride didn't kill their brain that much. It's almost like even a 90 IQ or 80 IQ idiot could see that they're being fucked. It's almost like it's not that hard to tell that you're being fucked. When the cock is in your ass, it doesn't matter if you're Forrest Gump, you're gonna see how you're being fucked. You're gonna feel it. It's almost like the West is sick of this shit. And David Lynch with this movie is predicting a lot of political and geopolitical things, economic things, racial and social things that have since come to pass through the imagery that he's presenting here. And I want to be serious about this for a minute. I'm not being bombastic and insane for fun. You have a dark-haired, dark-eyed woman and a light-haired, blue-eyed woman, and they're trying to understand each other. It's two cultures trying to come to some sort of agreement, some sort of concordat, some sort of treaty, whatever it is. And they've just encountered the corpse of the black-haired woman. The Israeli-looking chick is already dead. Her gene pool is totally mutated because of the Nazi-esque ethno-state policies of Israel that have caused Jewish people to develop or continue to develop several very degenerative genetic diseases. And if Jewish people are trying to use white people as a new, fresh gene pool to dip their genetic toes into, we're not going to be your slaves, your cucks, your cattle, your goyim. We're going to demand a price in exchange for that fuck. If that's how you want to frame things, that sex is another transaction, and apologies for medieval Europe consigning you to be bankers. Sorry, we didn't know it would mutate you into what you are now. It's not like we knew that was what was going to happen. You know what, guys? I speak on behalf of all of medieval Europe. I'm sorry for that. To the Jewish people from the Catholic and Protestant medieval Europeans, I will take up that mantle and say, you know what? We're sorry. We didn't know it would do this to you. We didn't know it would mutate you into an abomination, a type of golem that we don't even know how to satisfy. But the solution to this problem that we're currently facing is not to mutually destroy each other, and it's not to try to absorb one another to the point of negation. It is not to dissolve one race into the other or vice versa. It is to merge organically as nature intended, as God intended. If we're going to merge like this, you guys got to send more Jewish refugees to the United States, because right now, Xiao Biden, the Chinese puppet, is importing a whole bunch of Latino people, some of which may be good people, I don't know. But he's importing a whole bunch to vote for him. And also, as a deep state ploy, the importation or importing of those immigrants is not political, it's demographic, it's economic. It's because we are not breeding enough white people in the US, in Canada, in North America in general. So the importation of those immigrants is a desperation move. It's like a red alert going off in your favorite Star Trek episode. The red alert is we don't have enough people, period. And it's better to have anybody at this point. So if Israel wants to survive, if the Jews want their genetics to persist, they need to be sending their best, healthiest, least mutated, least inbred people to the States or to Canada to breed with us. That's the solution. That's what this movie's saying to me, guys. It's just this movie talking. It's not my own opinions. None of the opinions expressed in this video are my own. I want to make that clear. I channeled them all directly from this movie. If I wasn't watching this movie, I wouldn't have thought any of those thoughts. They wouldn't have come to me. I wouldn't have had them, you know. But that's what this movie's really saying, guys. It's saying white people and Jews want to merge into a new ruling class. That's the thing that's going on right now. Because, unfortunately, not due to their own weaknesses or flaws, a lot of other people on this planet, and I won't name specific races because I'm not racist, I don't look at things according to race, but most other human beings on this planet, again, they're transracial. They don't have a race. I'm just talking about humans. Most other humans on this planet don't know what the fuck they're doing or who they are. And there needs to constantly be some sort of ruling class that can wave a carrot in front of those other types of humans, which are very beautiful and diverse and perfect in their own way, and they have no flaws. There needs to be a class that waves a carrot in front of them that is tailored to their particular desires. So there needs to be a lot of different carrots, but there needs to be one hand waving all those carrots. That's a tough choice, man. It's a real pickle. It's a real conundrum, isn't it? If that has to be the case, and Jewish people are realizing that they are so genetically mutated that they can't produce competent overlords of society, their archons no longer want to incarnate as that, then you're going to have to offer the whiteys that you're tempting way more than you're offering them. You're offering us, basically right now, you're offering us a negative bargain that we're going to have to give up our entire race and everything's going to be destroyed. Even Satan would go,
"That's not a good bargain. I would have offered them a little more than that. I mean, even that blues jazz guy, the black guy, at the crossroads, I gave him a really fun music career. I mean, now he cleans my ass with his tongue and can't play an instrument without his fingers bursting into flames, but you know, in his lifetime, he had a lot of good shit. I mean, what the Jews are offering the whites, it's not even close to that. It's like, I mean, it's pretty sad. It's almost like these guys are amateur Satanist wannabes, and they're not actually affiliated with me at all. I mean, I hope they're not. I haven't talked to my PR guys in a while. I don't know who's affiliated with me. I'm a busy guy, you know. I have a lot of torturing to do, and I do a lot of it personally because I like it. But that seems like a shit bargain. And shout out to Madman. Subscribe to his channel. He's a neutral archon. I can't touch him. God can't touch him. He's going to be very lonely, but you know, he's made some good content, so you know, give him a like and subscribe. And to his credit, he hasn't been completely a dick to me either. He's given me my due credit. He understands my function, so shout out to Madman. And I guess peace out in his terms.
Anyway, guys, that's what Satan would say if you were talking about the current geopolitical situation that's occurring while I'm recording this video, which has nothing to do with this video. Again, none of this is predictive. None of it references any conflicts that have been going on for thousands of years. David Lynch is too stupid to possibly have included references to any sort of real-world events in his work. He's too much of an idiot. So none of this means anything beyond the spectacle that you're seeing, the nice squid ink fart of ink into your eyes. None of this means anything more than that. We're currently watching a scene where a magician performs a bunch of tricks. That doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that this movie is a trick or a magician's glamour or a lie. That's not what this movie's saying. I want to make it very clear that that's not what this is saying. The blue light permeating the theater, that means nothing. That's just it's St. Elmo's fire, you know. Ship captains experience the same thing. It's bullshit. Doesn't mean anything. Ignore it. Don't interpret it. Don't apply logic or symbolism to anything that you see. You should suspend your impulse to apply logic or symbolism to anything. That's the real message this movie's saying, and I think it's a very good message. I think everyone should agree with it. God, this guy looks like fucking Colonel Sanders after he ate too much of his own chicken. You've been high on your own supply, my man. You've been drinking the grease right from the tap. Ooh. Gotta cut some calories, my friend. Now, we have a very good scene here. This scene I'm going to rubber band back from all my bullshit to talk about. It's this very beautiful performance. It's a Spanish singer. And she's very good, man. Like, genuinely talented, disciplined, very, very good. And she's talking about silence. I'm not going to translate the lyrics, but the chorus of this song is silencio. She knows how to sing. She knows how to use her body as an instrument of art. That is genuinely beautiful. I'm not being ironic or post-ironic. I'm not fucking around. I love this, man. This is really good. Her singing is 10 out of 10. She's a pro. And these characters, they know how to react to this. God, she's so good. Her voice is so clean. She's transformed her meat hell spacesuit into a divine instrument. She's elevated herself through art. That is the way. Elevate yourself through art. Lynch did it by making this film. Her voice is so precise, man. It's like a machine, but it's made of flesh. And our characters are weeping as they should. This performance is very fucking good. It's like there's equal parts joy and sorrow. You're at the mercy of her notes. You're totally enthralled. But it's a good enthrallment. You're being shown something above the material. Something immaterial but instantiated in matter. That's the trick. The immaterial realm needs the material. It can't exist without it. And her voice goes on after she faints. Fuck, man. That is so fucking good. Every artist's fantasy is to be this chick, where your voice just keeps going after your body rots. You couldn't have kids, or if you did, it wasn't enough. Either way, you needed to go on through your art, and this woman has achieved that. And our main character, she pulls out the mecha box, the creepy box of materialism, the cube of the material, the cube of Saturn, the cube of mecha, whatever you want to call it. She's like, this chick's performance was so amazing to me, I want to re-examine reality. That's what a good artistic performance does, is it prompts you to rethink how you see the world. And again, that's very general. It has to be. I have to say it that way. That's what a good artistic performance will do, is it will shake you up in such a way that you're like, you know, you're not like, everything's fake and I'm in a video game. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it will make you go, am I living the life I want to live? Is reality what I want it to be? Could it be different? Do I have the power to change it? Those are the types of questions that artistic performances of that caliber will summon up in you if you have an IQ above room temperature. So all of a sudden our main characters disappeared. Could our main character have been an imagined version of this woman's younger self? That's a potential interpretation. I can't discount that. That could be the case. Again, Lynch is not serving you one dish. He's serving you a quantum plate on which there could be many dishes. I know that sounds cringe, but there's no other way to put it. You know, you interpret this movie whatever way you want to. But our blonde-haired chick is now gone. Our main character now has not only the same blonde hair, but the blue key. She's been playing Doom 2, and she got the blue key. Now she can go to the secret part of map 2 of episode 2, map 5. She puts the key in. Guys, this is very epic. What is she gonna see? It's almost like this is a good time to end the recording into a cliffhanger. I'm gonna do that. So sorry guys, she's opening the box. I'm gonna end the recording here at 1:55:12, 13, 14, 15. Peace out. Hey guys, what is going on? We are back with the last part of Mulholland Drive, or Madholland Drive, as I've ingeniously decided to call it. Straight up, the whole mad term being inserted into the titles of the videos, that's just, I know how cringe that is, it's bullshit. I just find it funny, personally. That's why I do it. It has no real value, it's not a funny joke to anybody but me. But you know what? I gotta entertain myself, guys. I gotta entertain myself at the same time as I attempt to entertain 2 or 3 other people. And that's enough for me, man. If only I could make a living off of it, which I never will, so I'll probably just die at age 60 when I drink myself to death or consent to assisted suicide. That'll probably be how I check out of this earth. I don't know, man. Maybe my inheritance will support me till I'm 85, something like that. But either way, you know, I can see myself going out that way. I came here for fun in the first place. I'm going to have fun at everybody else's expense. You can all just enjoy it. Our creepy, pasty white vampire KKK cowboy guy has said, "Hey there, little girl, time to wake up. Hey there, Israel. Time to wake up as a tool of white people to represent a Jewish state that's totally fake and just justify our efforts in the Middle East to secure oil." And oh my god, now she's magically white. Isn't that funny? She's now a blonde white chick in the same bed in the same position. Interesting. Man, Lynch is really jogging the old noggin with that visual. Whew. I'm amazed David Lynch has not been killed, and I'm not joking when I say that. This guy must have done something. He won a you know, they have those pie eating and hot dog eating contests in the States. He won an infant eating contest, and all the other elites in the States were like, "Bro, anything you want to make, even if it insults or exposes us, you can make it, because you won the infant eating contest of 2012. Good for you, man." And he goes, "Thank you, I just want to make my films." He's so robotic and autistic that he went ahead and did that. I mean, that's insane, man. Whatever he did, to be able to make this without being killed. I mean, they could have killed him, and then, you know, the Lynch you're seeing is some fucking CIA underground vat clone. But anyway. Now our 2 main characters have been pitted against each other, like they're former lesbian lovers. Or no, this is the other brown-haired chick. This is the Israeli-looking chick. This is Abby Shapiro, after the breast reduction, of course, because, you know, not to be lewd or misogynistic, but look at her tits. They're very small. Obviously, she had a breast reduction because Abby Shapiro's tits were fucking pharmaceutically enhanced, or, you know, she had a lot of bovine hormones in her diet. Whatever the case was with that, my god, her boobs are big. And, you know, I'm not a boob guy. I'm an ass guy, if that wasn't already clear by my videos thus far. But I do understand that breasts are an artificial ass that has been physically planted on the female chest by male evolutionary choice, because breeding usually takes place doggy style. If you look at primates, they breed doggy style. They don't look each other in the eye when they fuck. They just fuck each other in doggy style. Straight or gay, whatever it is. And that's why women, human, female, ape women over the ages have evolved fat tits, is because male dominant individuals over the course of Cro-Magnon, Ook, Grug, caveman history chose women with big tits because at some point, for some reason, we started looking each other in the eye while we fucked. We liked to stare at each other's eyes. Interesting that that trend developed. It's almost like there's a parasite that enters your body through your eye, and when you're going to breed with someone, you wanted to figure out if they were infected or not. And if you're infected, you want to breed with someone who's infected. And if you're not infected, you want to breed with someone who's also not infected. So my point is, we developed a fascination with big, milky tits, which do not need to be as big as they do to provide milk for the infant to survive. They're much bigger than they need to be nowadays. Women need to milk themselves and then put the milk in a fucking fridge. That's not natural. That is a side effect or a result of selective breeding that happened in prehistory. Or if you believe the Earth is 6,000 years old and you're that cooked, then okay, that was when the Earth was 2 years old. That's when that selective breeding practice occurred. It had the same fucking effect. Anyway, this chick's starting to go a bit psychotic. She's having hallucinations. She's seeing Rita, the black-haired lesbian GF. And then it transitions to being her sitting there. She's seeing herself. It's almost like Rita is another aspect of our wayward Pleiadians' sense of self. That's a way you can interpret this movie. And then we're, sniffing her farts in this scene. My God, the camera's directly on her ass. Oh, and there's Rita with her totally not fake tits. She was born without the fake buttocks glued to her chest, so she had to create some fake ones. I don't fault women for having boob jobs, man. I don't personally like them, but if you understand the evolutionary connection between the doggy-style butt sex, vaginal sex way that things were done in the past, and female breasts, then you'll know what I mean. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. There's probably about 1,000 research papers on it at this point from researchers whose political backgrounds are like a spectrum. They're like a rainbow. Any color in the rainbow. You can find a research paper that confirms that. It's almost like that's the only way to figure out if something's true, is if people with opposing political viewpoints believe the same shit. It's almost like the middle path is the only path. The other ones are all roundabout roads to hell. And you gotta find a middleman in your life. You gotta be your own middleman, man. If you wanna fucking survive. So this chick's getting pissed. They've got some relationship tension. Ooh. Again, if you view these women as the same woman, as different personalities or aspects of the same woman who wants to be an actress. Maybe it's a brown-haired chick. If you mix black and blonde hair, you might get brown hair. Who knows? The point is that our blonde-haired chick in this revised part of this film where some sort of event has taken place is somebody who wants to approach Hollywood in a particular way. She wants to be aggressive, masculine, independent. She wants to work her way up as if she were a man. Her counterpart, the black-haired Rita chick, wants to do the opposite. She's like, well, my way to make my way in Hollywood is I have to fuck executives, right? And you can change getting into Hollywood as a goal with finding a husband. Isn't it interesting that those two things are perfectly interchangeable in this movie's context? Because you could have women who approach a husband in two ways. You want to be the husband's bro. You want to be like one of the guys. You want to be a punk chick. You want to get tattoos. You want to smoke cigarettes and, drink right from the bottle. Ooh, you're such a cool dude. You're totally going to get a good guy. You're going to get a closeted gay guy if you behave that way. Unfortunately, in this movie's context, you do have to be a submissive whore to get a good husband. That's the bargain. The guy you're getting has had to make bargains you can't fucking imagine. He's had to do so much more than just open his legs. You can't even fathom it. He's had to give up 500 other potential women. He's had to rein in his cock like a wild beast, strapping it with all sorts of habits and BDSM type shit to keep it in line so that he doesn't have illegitimate children. He's had to give up the partying young guy life to study for 10 years or to work for 10 years to make money. He's had to maintain his physique. He's had to deal with social trends that he doesn't agree with and adapt to them despite the fact that they're bullshit and he can see it. He's had to do all sorts of insane shit that you can't fucking imagine. All you have to do as a woman is keep your legs shut. And you can have that guy. That's the only price. Or if you can't keep your legs shut, at least don't have kids, get an IUD, whatever. Survive whatever way you can, but maintain your soul. Keep your soul. Men and women both have souls, duh, but there's different ways that the evil powers that be, whatever you want to conceptualize them as, will try to take your soul from you. They will try to make you into a whore or into some kind of streetwalker, heroin addict, or whatever. Or like this chick, she's a female coomer. You know, she's sweating through her little blouse there. She's jacking off to Rita's memory. My God, I loved Rita so much. She was so important to me that I'm going to cry and jack off to her. Guys do this too with exes. They sublimate their ex to some other pornographic scapegoat. But they do this too. Men and women do the same thing. And now, here in this scene, to rubber band back to the movie, we finally have an explanation for the red light over the phone. The red pussy light. This chick's got to be chafed at this point, man. It's like, goddamn. Hope your body is able to produce natural lube. If not, you're going to be red and sore as that light tomorrow morning. Hope you washed your hands before you jacked off. Guys, I hope you do that too. If you're jacking off, you better wash your hands before and after. You're going to get a fucking UTI. So basically this chick, who's a failed actress, gets a phone call from Rita, who says, "Oh, I'm going to J.J. Abrams' Star Wars party. Are you going to come?" More ways than one. And she goes, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I should just go back to the Pleiades. This Carnival New Vegas reality is pretty fucking heinous. Maybe I should never have come here in the first place." And guess where it's happening?
Guys, isn't that the same street name as the movie? Could this be a coincidence? I don't know. You know what, guys? Ayn Rand said, coincidences are not real. Check your premises. So I'm going to assume it's not a coincidence and that I just haven't done enough research to figure out the real connection. I'm sure it's not a directly connected thing. I'm sure I just haven't done enough research. I just have to be a celibate monk and read more books and isolate myself on a tiny objectivist island. I'm sure if I do that, I'll be happier in the end. I'll figure out the real meaning behind Mulholland Drive. I'll solve the autismo Rubik's Cube. That'll be more fulfilling to me than having a child. That'll be the most fulfilling way I can live my life, is by solving autism Rubik's Cubes till I'm dead. Till my fingers are so arthritic and my brain is so dementia-ridden that I can't match two color cubes together. I'm sure that that's the path I'm meant to take, guys. I'm meant to solve Rubik's Cubes for the rest of my life. Now, speaking of solving Rubik's Cubes, this chick is in the same position as Rita now. They've switched places. It's like she's swapped timelines or swapped lives with this love interest of hers. But instead of being pulled over by a drunk California driver, they're pulled over by our dark savior here, who comes and looks at our Pleiadian and goes, "You're a good girl. You're just confused and young, and you just need a helping hand. Even if it's a demon, if all the angels refuse you, I'm a sympathetic demon. Maybe I'm an angel pretending to be a demon. I'm whatever you need me to be at this point in your life. And I will lead you through the jungle
to the J.J. Abrams mansion. She's a good soul, man. Despite all her flaws, I don't think Rita is evil. I don't think this dark-haired feminine figure in this blonde-haired, confused, child-minded woman's life is necessarily evil. It's almost like our main character has enough evil in her due to her ignorance and her willingness to immediately give herself to anyone, to love anyone who's nice to her. Her excess of both empathy and sympathy, which by the way mean different things, look it up. She has an excess of both. And that's her Achilles heel. In a way, that's her sin. Again, if you want to talk about this movie in Judeo-Christian terms, there you go. There's my Judeo-Christian take. And here we have JJ. Oh man, guys, I really loved the new Star Wars and the new Star Trek. You should have 10 new child whores delivered to your mansion for that. Good for you, bro. You should have your eyes burnt out with hot fireplace pokers. You should have your ass torn open until it looks like one of those stink flowers from fucking South America or Madagascar. You should have your butthole turned into post-mortem art by sick, sadistic surgeons who will sculpt it into something after you're dead. That's what should be done to you, JJ. JJJ. I'm Jesus. My name begins with J. Sure it does. And again, she's meeting Coco again, but in a different environment. This time, she's at J.J. Abrams' little fuck palace here. It's an inversion of the earlier narrative of this movie. And again, this movie's sort of like it whiplashes you, man. It does all this shit really fucking fast. You can't question it, you just have to look at it and interpret it. If you question the logic of the order of the scenes, you're being red herringed, you're being fish-hooked, you're being baited, like a bait poster on 4chan. You're being eyes wide shutted. Your eyes are being shuttered. You have to follow the movie through its symbolism, not through its logical order. Symbolism in art is more important than logic. It's almost like that's the entire point of art, is that symbolism matters more than logic, because life has to be lived logically or you will die of starvation. Art is the opposite. It's lived symbolically. It's lived non-logically. So this chick, the real version of our Pleiadian, if this is real and not another dream, is confessing. She's saying, hey, you know, my grandma left me some money and I wanted to be an actress, so I came here. I didn't realize how much whoring I would have to do. I was willing to do a little bit of it, but I didn't realize this was the land of epic whores and that I would have to compete with the juggernaut whores who have been here longer than I have, like this brown-haired chick. And Coco's just passively observing, you know, she's like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, man. I really think that fits this character. This is like Ursula, if she was a bit less overt about trying to steal Ariel's voice. She's like, I'm just going to sit back and watch for a bit and be a smart woman. You know, exercise my feminine power a little more carefully. And so she's basically admitting, I fucked this other woman and she got me parts. I'm willing to be a lesbian. I'm willing to do that. Maybe I really am a lesbian. In fact, that seems to be the case because she's jealous of this brown-haired Rita chick's involvement with men. How dare she be bisexual when I'm a lesbian? How dare she be a different type of person? She's angry at her because she, as the blonde-haired chick, lacks the willingness to use her body as a tool to get roles and to not be so offended by that, to not be so attached to her own body that she considers bodily actions equivalent to spiritual ones. And that brings me back to a biblical quote that I really like, which is, "Nothing done to the body can harm the spirit." Now, that doesn't mean you can go get AIDS and be addicted to heroin and die in a gutter and God will forgive you. What it means is that if you need to use your host, your temple, your body, your church, to do something beneficial to you and those you love, God will forgive you for that because your body is not holy. It's just a spacesuit. It's just a vessel. And this chick hasn't understood it because she's too attached to her meat suit. She's unwilling to perform, to go to an orgy, to have some fun. Doesn't mean anything. It's not permanent. There's no obligation afterwards to phone the people involved. She doesn't like that type of shit. She's repulsed by it. And the reason she's repulsed by it is because she's not comfortable even in her own body in the first place. She hasn't realized the utility of her own body. She thinks her body is part of her soul. She's conflated body and soul. That's her sin. According to the Buddhists, she's hypnotized by desire because the desires of her meat spacesuit have merged or overlapped with her spiritual desire to the point where she can't tell the difference. So she's essentially enslaved by her own meat. She's enslaved by her own body. Look at her fucking blouse here. She's got some kind of Vitruvian Man, fucking Fallout Institute symbol on her blouse. Again, the hubris of humanity is that you conflate bodily desires with spiritual ones. Both exist and need to be satisfied to some extent. I'm not saying one is worse or better than the other, they're just different. But if you confuse the two, it's that confusion that sends you to hell. It's your lack of an ability to sort or compartmentalize different desires in your life and give them channels that are equivalent to their nature. If you can't do that, you're less than a dog. You're less than an insect. You're a liability that needs to be destroyed. And society will destroy you quietly or loudly. It doesn't matter. Totalitarian or capitalist, you'll get slowly killed and profited from while you die, or you'll get quickly killed. And she's in the diner now. She's starting to see her own sins, her own flaws, her conflation of her body's desires with her mind's. She's starting to see it. She's not quite there. She still kind of looks like a crack hoe in this little cutscene, but the guy has offered her the blue key. He's like, "We're in the age of Aquarius, bitch. You better take this key or else you're gonna stay in hell for a hell of a long time." Here we have the dumpster behind Winky's. Oh. Turns out this guy was Odin in disguise. It wasn't a homeless man. Isn't that funny? It's almost like that's a Nordic myth, that the most repulsive person in society might have a grain of wisdom, or perhaps a vital piece of wisdom to give you. Beauty and the Beast. Even the fucking paused Disney version of Beauty and the Beast shows you this, because the old woman that comes to the king's palace is a version of Odin in disguise. It's a wise person testing your sympathy and empathy. And here he's showing us, as viewers, all these chittering executives are all trapped in a box. They're just making illusions for you. They're not powerful. Their power is an illusion that I have allowed them to have. God in disguise, as a hobo or an old woman or whatever, is saying to our character, "Look, you're in a dark place. I'm going to try to help you. I'm going to give you a key, and also I'm going to even show you the box. I'm going to show you that your reality is not mediated by people who have any real power. Their power is fake. And here's the key. You have all the tools you need to improve your life. You have everything you need. I've given you all the hero's journey epic starting gear. I've given you everything. Yes, these little rat fucks will crawl under your door, but they'll only bother you if you let them. And in this case, it's not executives here, it's her parents. In fact, they're the ones who crawled out of the cube. What the movie's saying here then, contrary to what I just ranted about a bit, is that she's enslaved by her boomer parents and their fake vision of the future. Their future is not your future. Their economy is not your economy. And she's been hypnotized. And again, they're smiling while they attack her. These boomers are like,
We didn't punish you. Maybe we spanked you a little, but we want the best for you. We want you to give in to our illusion.
the problem is reality is not conforming to the illusion. And this really is an attack. And instead of shooting them, she shoots herself. She kills herself. She's like, I'm so terrified, so horrified by my boomer parents, by realizing that they have flaws, that they were scammed, that they are not perfect, genius, godlike beings. They're just people. And my life has been so negatively affected by me following their advice that I would rather die than keep going. And I'm not going to kill them. I'll kill myself first. Again, she's like an innocent idiot who's drifted into this reality. And this was her lot. This was her thing that had to happen to her. She had to kill herself for parents that didn't deserve her death, didn't deserve her sacrifice. It'd be like if Christ killed himself and everyone was like, whatever, right after he did it. I mean, right now everybody's like that, but I'm talking about, right after the act, like nobody cared. Even his own followers would have been like, whatever, you got killed by the Romans. We're going to go worship Baal instead. He's cooler. That's what went on with this. And what's the recommendation for this entity? An entity subjected to that? Well, silencio. Don't do anything. Don't support anyone. Don't oppose anyone. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. I'm not going to do that personally. I'm going to speak until my lips rot. But being totally silent when reality has raped you into wishing for non-existence and being unable to achieve it, I'm not going to totally blame someone for picking the silencio route. That's what this movie essentially recommends. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fart out of my mouth and stink up reality until I'm dead, because I feel justified in doing that. If I'm not supposed to be here, if I've snuck in here, or if I was in over my head when I agreed to come here, what am I going to do? Blame myself? Hate myself? No. What am I going to blame anybody else? No, it's nobody else's fault. I'll blame reality itself, and I'll shit up reality itself. The fabric of reality itself will be my target for revenge. If I was this blonde chick in this movie. It's all hypothetical, of course, guys. It's all in the context of this film we just critiqued, which is now ending. We're now seeing the end credits. In lieu of that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. More to come. There's plenty more movies I'd like to talk about. There's plenty more time that I have to offer to all three of you. And I do hope that whoever you are, whatever your job is, or your political views, your whatever your views are, I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's doing well. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're taking vitamin D. If you're, sick, I hope you have access to proper medical care. And I do appreciate your viewership very much. For real. No cap. Thank you again for watching, and as always, guys and gals and Cthulhuoids, peace out.